Mike?
Yeah, that's not good. Going live just froze him out. Oh, there he is.
Are you there, Mike?
I saw him move for a second.
We're off to.
Sorry, people. We had some technical difficulties beforehand, and they appear to be bleeding over into the 7 o'clock hour. So we do apologize. This occasionally happens with Google. We have no control over it. We are at their mercy, unfortunately. Fuck you, Google. Anyway.
Well, we usually record later in the evening, so there might be a lot more people on at the moment.
It could be. But he's moving now. I see some shadow. You there, Mike?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right.
Okay. You were all frozen up.
Yeah.
Well, we're off to a rip-roaring start, so I'm telling you that I'm giving you finger guns if you want to go ahead and lead us in.
That's my... Shut. He's a giant greyhound. I mean, a Dane. He's just an idiot.
It's probably a big mush ball, though.
He's in good company here.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna give this a go. We'll see how we can make this through. You ready to give it a shot, Mike?
Yeah, I can type too. I mean, we could reschedule whatever. I think I'm the one dragging it down, but I don't know how to fix it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. If you got good signal, I'm not sure what's slowing us down, unless it's just a lot of traffic on Google itself. I guess this is probably like after dinner time on the East Coast, so.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I mean, we haven't really encountered this sort of problem before.
No, this is a first. This is a first for everything, so thank you.
I can break it.
Oh. You.
Not even.
We didn't hear a word you said. It's just like
I'm
joke.
not even there, and I broke it. Isn't that amazing?
That's quite an accomplishment. You should put that definitely to put down on the hey, I did this list.
Yeah, you're there. I mean, we could see you moving and stuff, and then it super hangs up, and then you get all kind of robot-y.
Yeah.
That's like a really bad. It's like there's a storm where you're at over your house, and it's just causing some interference.
Can you hardwire?
It's clear as a bell here.
See, now you sound good.
Hey, you're fine now. Lift your left leg.
Okay.
Antenna-wise.
And my right arm is up.
There you go. No, we're going to have the interview just
Not
like
working. Hey, if it works, I'll do it.
There you go.
It's a matter of keeping you non-robot-y for a length of time.
Yeah. Do you want to try to reschedule for another day, or?
Well, now you sound okay.
Yeah, now it's all right. Let's ask you one question and see how it goes. We'll start off with one question.
All right. Well, we'll give it a shot. Let me scroll back up here in my questions, and we'll edit the shit out of this when I pull it down.
It's actually not bad.
Is what it is.
So with your first Kickstarter, you swung right for the fences. Why did you decide to offer up 4 complete games for your first Kickstarter?
Pure ignorance is the only way to put it. It's a learning process, and we had I thought maybe a big splash would be a way to get some attention and have people look at them and just get more backers, get things moving. Didn't know how it was going to work.
Hmm.
Gotcha.
Looks like it's a little slow going in the beginning, but you have last time I checked this afternoon, 106 backers, so not it's getting some attention.
It's definitely growing. It's growing slower than it was up to me. I would already have the thing funded, and we'd be working on that third free game. You know, I want to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
those to the customers. That's the goal. Pain, and had to try it, see what happened.
Right. And so we got a review copy of After Days, and that's
Uh
up on the
huh.
website. So do you want to talk about the four games that you do have available?
Or initially available. It's After Days, which is the post-apocalyptic where you're basically gathering survivors and trying to get resources to deal with threats, such as marauders, zombies, and weather. For 6 turns, and if you can survive with one person having one wound left, then you win. And every turn, the survivor that you have leaves, and a new one shows up. So when you're the first player, you have a new person, and you have to deal with it. So there's the dog again. uh, it's fun. He's a big idiot. The other one is Devil Tree Station, and that one is a team-based game where one side plays outlaws and one side plays the posse who are trying to apprehend the outlaws right after they rob the bank. And it's a dice stealing game where your character has an action they like to do, and if you pick that action, you get to re-roll your dice. But everyone knows what that action is, to steal half your dice automatically. So you have to be really careful and not pick it all the time, or you'll get your dice stolen. And so the idea is I pick it, then I roll my dice looking for matching dice to the action card I played, and then you can try to steal dice from them. And the idea is for everyone that matches, you get to steal one. So the first person out is the first person with no dice. The first team out is the team with no dice. When you have 10 dice and they have 2, if you put all 10 up there to roll, that means if they steal half your dice, they get 5. Whereas if the 2-person dice goes up, you're only going to lose 1. So it sort of makes the person who's in the lead slow down, and it lets the person who's behind catch up because there are your dice there, and that'll be the time I get half your dice to start, and then start stealing more.
Cool.
Right. Interesting. Sounds like an interesting concept. And the game, all four games, all have custom dice, which is a really nice feature. The cards themselves for the games, like I said, we just had the one, is really beautiful. The art for the Western game on the website looks really, really nice. Did you use different artists for all the games, or do you have one artist for all the games? How did that work out?
Well, I have 2 artists. I have one artist in Vladivostok, Russia, and she did the majority of the art. And then I have another artist who actually just the school I teach at, and
Oh,
she did all of the art for Shadow Wars, which is our spy game, and she also did the weather for After Days and did some of the captions. So I'm working mainly with 2 artists right now. Miner, who is also a graduate of the school I teach at.
nice. That's good. Uh, Keep it kind of in the family, as it were.
They're just getting out of school. They're building resumes, and I'm like, well, I can use some help, and let's get you some game credits and get you out there. And so it's good for me. It's good for them.
Cool. And the fourth game is name escapes me at the moment. I was trying to grab the Kickstarter real quick.
Yeah, the fourth dimension, where each person that plays is a minor Norse god, and you're trying to ascend to major god status. But to do so, you have to kind of backstab all the other minor Norse gods. And the cards you get are major Norse gods, and they are to help you. So they can help you or maybe hammer the other player. And what you're trying to do is collect temples, prestige, and followers. And you're rolling your dice. And the whole thing that's interesting about that one is it's just as important to screw up the other person's dice as it is to score your dice. So there's a mechanic in there where I can duel another player. I may only have one dice, and I'm going to lose the duel if he has 10, but I make him re-roll all 10 of his dice at once. And so it can be a really frustrating kind of thought about when we thought about gods playing with each other is they're very petty. They're going after each other. They're just trying to mess each other up. And sometimes they go after the humans the same way. What the bad thing on the dice is every dice has 2 mockery on it. And if you ever have 3 mockery showing, you have to throw all your dice away and grab new dice. And the idea is you're getting mocked by humans, so you say, forget those plans. I have to incinerate these people. And then you go down and you do it, and you have to restart all your plans. Because you're trying to basically get sets of 3 and 4 to do different things. It's a really fast game. That was the first one that we prototyped and played. And we played it with my 11-year-old nephew and my wife's mother, and we all had fun.
Nice.
Cool.
Everybody wanted to play again.
Cool. Well, that's got to be extremely satisfying when you're getting a game on the table for the first time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The hardest one to do was actual team-based thing. It didn't come very natural, and we hung up for 2 or 3 months where we couldn't get over the hump and figure out how to make it work until we got to the thing. And once that got there, there was some strategy, and then it became really fun. It became one of the best games out there. We had a great time. The 4th game is Shadow Wars, and that was actually Yuri, who's the designer that helped me. And that one's all about Cold War spies and turning agents, assassinating agents, ghosting through the enemy's defense and stealing their intelligence. And again, you're trying to get sets of dice, and you're trying not to blow your cover, which makes you throw your dice away or re-roll your dice. So you're picking targets, and they're staying hidden the whole time. Unless you blow cover, then you have to flip. Then it gets really spiteful, and people start coming after you. They're like, oh, you're coming after me? Great. All right, let me get you. And one of the mechanics is you can actually target yourself. And so you have 2 cards. You have your home card face down, and your home card and your target card is yourself. You flip it over and move those dice that were out in the field back to home, trap, and you've ambushed them. And so a lot of times people will win with that mechanic. They'll get a piece of intelligence. You start with 1. You'll get another. You have 2, and you need 3 to win the game. Then they'll try to notice what they're doing. They're not trying to get a set and win, and you go, oh, no, he's waiting for me. I'm not going there. And then we make them switch it out, and you go for him. And it's a real, I know that you know, it's that kind of thing that starts to come and forth.
Sure, sure. That's cool. And
it's about, like I said, turning agent.
Right. So your pledge at $35 is going to get you both After Days and Deviltree Station.
Yes.
Unlocked cards, dice, and game stretch goals, which is initially a $50 value, and if they get full funding, could be up to 314%. So
the whole idea is it's 1 pledge value at 30 for early bird or 35 if you miss the early bird. And then as more stuff gets unlocked, you just get it free. There's no more add-ons. There's no anything. That's why I want to get that next game. I want to get those add-ons open on so that things just get better and better and better, and the value builds. But you know, it's kind of hard. I'm a new commodity. Dice Made Me Do It is new. The games are really solid. We have really nice art, like you were saying. I'm a dice junkie, so I wanted the absolute best in dice. I go to a PAX or somewhere and I see a big bin of dice, I just bury my hands in it. I have to. But the products are really good out there. So really appreciate you guys helping me get the word out. And that, I think, is what's going to make the difference.
I appreciate you reaching out to us, or have Scott have you, provide some information for you. The After Days is a lot of fun to play. Like I said in the review, the art is beautiful. The dice are really cool. The customized dice are always a lot of fun because it's so unique, and it pops, and it's a lot of fun to have something like that on a table. It's just opposed to a regular D6 or a D10 or
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah.
And even and for $30 to get a
The
game.
upside-
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, the upside is they're beautiful and they're fun. The downside is they are expensive to make, and so
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why the initial funding is set where it is and the unlocking of other games. I tried to set things as low as possible, but it's just a big front end to get those nice custom dice made.
Right. Yeah, they do add they do add a big cost to it. But at $30 for those two games, that's not that bad. I mean, for a consumer, $30 for two
Not
games
really.
is great.
Right.
So, yeah.
Value if nothing else unlocks, and that was the goal to set that funding level as low as I could, and if more stuff unlocks, it just game, and these games are going to retail for 20 to 25, so it's a steal.
Right. And even $20 or $25 for a game with custom dice, if I were to see that in the store, would not be like, oh, there's no way.
Right.
That's completely a reasonable price point, I think.
Yeah, the game with the fewest custom dice is actually After Days. It has the most custom art, but it has 3 types of dice, and there's 15 of them in total. And the one with the most custom dice has the most different kinds, and that's Shadow Wars. It has 26 custom dice of 4 different types.
Wow.
And so say all 4 games combined is in the 80s.
That's a lot of dice.
Yeah, it is.
If we got it to 100, I would have.
I think you may have a problem.
Yeah.
I definitely do, and I definitely do. Yes, my wife knows.
Well, since you bring it up, does she game at all or no?
She does. When we were dating, that was one of the things that really let me know she was the right one. She pulls out a Game Boy while we were waiting in line, and I went, "Oh, you're the lady for me," because
Yeah.
that's what I do. That's my day job is I teach computer game design, and so I was like, "Man, how is this possible?"
Nice.
Cool.
Is that do you teach at a university game design, or is it
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I teach at SMU Guildhall. It's a full-time master's degree in computer game development. We have and production.
we missed that last bit?
Oh, I was saying it's a full-time master's degree. We've been around for 12 years now. I've been teaching there for 10 and a half, 11, programming, art, and production.
Wow.
Nice.
Pretty cool.
What's the spread like on that? Do you get mostly younger folks that get in there, or do you see a wide range?
We've gotten a wide range before. I mean, we got a couple career changers. We had a PhD in physics come through. We had a guy that lost everything at Enron and said, "Well, I want to be happy. I'm going to do this." And now he's a director. But most of the students that come through are just finishing their undergrad, and then they're coming in, and they see it as a path to get to the career that they want.
Very cool. I wish that had been a thing when I
did
was
it.
going up
I
through
know.
college.
I know. I lucked into it through an ad in a newspaper, but that would never happen today.
Wow.
Yeah. There's so much competition, and so many different.
Exactly.
The days of Monopoly and things like that are over. Especially for the hardcore gamers, there's so many different styles of play, from your big box games to your card and dice games,
Mhm.
and there's just so many options now. And Kickstarter is such a boon for for guys like you and guys like Scott to get good games into the hands of people without a middleman.
Right. It's a perfect way to get started. It's kind of what Unity and Unreal did to their indie development market, where they opened it up and said, "Hey, if you make this much, you got to start with that." And that was a great step toward indie game development. And Kickstarter's been the same thing, but for all things. It's just opened the market up.
Now, has that affected your design strategy at all? Not having that filter to go through an agent or a big company?
Sorry about the dog. No, not really. Most of my time in the game industry, the video game industry, I've been making games since '95, but I've been developing games since I was about 9, I think. But most of the games you make when you're in the video game industry are games, and these games have been ones that I wanted to make. They were topics that I wanted to do. I was watching, I think it was Almighty Johnson's, and that started me on the whole Norse mythology, and I went, that is so cool. I want to pretend, I want to kind of, role play that. I want to see where I can go with that. And I've always been a huge fan of westerns like Tombstone and things like that. And I did
Right.
Deviltry Station. I'm a Walking Dead fan.
Nice.
And Tom Clancy, Cold War, Spies, all that kind of stuff. Well, one of my games was Rainbow Six 3, so that led right into Shadow Wars and the Spies and things like that. So it's what it has done is it's allowed me to kind of explore places that previously I wouldn't get paid to explore, and now
Right.
I can try to start a small company, develop these games, and get those ideas out there. And we have a ton more. We have at least 4 or 5 more in development because we just can't stop making them. We really like it, and whether we are able to sell them is one thing, but we were making them before we even thought of selling them. We were like, we just want to play them. We want to do it.
Right. That's cool.
Very cool. Let's take it back even further in your history. When did you first
Sure.
get into gaming? When did all this coalesce and start?
It's way back when I was 7, 8, 9, somewhere like that. My father had 1/32nd scale army men and tanks and things that he had collected and painted and stuff like that. And of course, I was allowed to play with the little rubber army men, And then as I got a little older, I got to play with the tanks and things like that. My friends would come over, make forts and mountains and play games. And then one day they couldn't come over, and I said, I'll come to your house. And they said, but you can't bring all that. And it wouldn't fit on my bike. And so why don't I just design a game that I can put on my bike or in my pocket and go to a friend's house? And I designed my first game, which I found about 10 years ago. I found it, and it was one paper, loose leaf, was the map. The measuring distance was the width of a 2d6s. Each side had a blank sheet where they would write down their units and put numbers next to them. So it even had hidden movement. You'd see number 4 moving across the map, and until someone rolled a dice to spot it, you didn't know if it was Tiger tanks or infantry or whatever. And then
Nice.
each side had a piece of paper with a table that had the stats for the 6 or 8 units per side. And so I started taking that around to my friend's house and playing it. And then eventually I had a TRS-80, a Trash 80, back from the started making my own little video games, and they were all kind of turn-based, but I made a Star Wars game, I made a football game, I made a baseball game,
Sweet.
and then that led to going to summer camps, and I've just been making games since I can remember, and my friends always wanted to play them. The most interesting thing I did, I had one friend who was always the best at everything. He would tell you I'm better than you at everything. So he came over and we played my baseball game. We all had a friend like that, right?
Mhm.
And we played my baseball game, and what he didn't know is I had worked cheats into the game. So you hit enter, and then it would count down from 20 to 15 really slow, and then from 15 to 1 really fast, and you had to hit the space bar between 7 and 10 to hit the ball. Well, I would hit I and then enter, and if I swung, I hit the ball automatically. Or 8, and if I swung, I would make a home run automatically. And I trounced him like 20 to 1. I mean, it was amazing, and he was
Nice.
humbled, so he wanted the game. So I printed it out. He went home, typed it in, didn't know what he was typing, so then I went over and beat him on his machine because he typed the cheats in verbatim, didn't know what they were.
Wow. Does he know this?
So
Is
it was,
it's still a secret.
oh, probably not. Probably not. It was so funny, though. Because I was like, oh, we'll do this. I said, I wonder if he typed that in. H, home run, all right. We're in the game. Throw balls or strikes or walks. I could do anything. He was all in there. But it was sort of being the magician behind the curtain, which was so much fun for me. And so that led to a game, a job in the game industry, and kind of running from there. Just never looked back.
That's nice. That's a great story too. When you can do something that you really enjoy doing,
Oh
that's what
yeah,
everybody's looking for.
Leverage that into
that's it.
a resource. That's
And,
great.
and you're part of the Dallas designers group down there.
Yes, yes, I've been quite a bit over there, and they're really great guys. I've worked with Scott and some of those guys, and I've tested some of Scott's early games and made some comments. He's tested some of mine and things like that. I don't get out there enough
Hmm.
because the full-time job and the homework, and I got 2 new grandkids. Just a lot of stuff slows me down.
Right.
But when I can, I try to go out there. They're a great bunch.
2 grandkids. You don't look old enough to have your own kids.
Oh man, I'm almost 50.
Are you really?
What?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
You look
Oh,
good.
you're
I'm
young.
not hitting on you or anything, but you look good.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Well, I have been drinking, so who knows?
Jesus. Well,
Yeah,
as long
I
as you
haven't
buy
drinking yet,
breakfast.
but I'm about to start it. 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. It's just a little after 5 here.
It's 7:39 here in Jersey, so I'm already.
Yeah, good for you.
That's it.
Do you have how difficult is it as a designer to come up with a new mechanic or a spin on an old mechanic that makes it seem like it's a new mechanic?
I just start talking with people. It's funny. I'm in San Antonio visiting her mom and dad, and we started talking about a potential game, and it was a game show. And wouldn't it be fun? Everything they won in the game show was stuff they couldn't use and they didn't want. And then it was silly, like they live in a desert, so they get a new set of rain gutters.
Yeah, yeah.
And then how would you would be a little tongue in cheek and playing. And after about an hour and a half, we had worked out the mechanics, everything else. We worked out a kind of a Mad Max racing style game where you don't want to be first, you don't want to be last, but somebody's got to be first and last, and those guys are going to get punished because the guy last has a group, and the guy in first has the entire group. And we worked out that mechanic. My kids have helped me. You just never know where you're going to. That was the whole thing with like Deviltree Station. That was my second game that I thought up and I started working on. And I mean, we beat our heads against a wall, myself and Jason, for about 4 months.
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden, we were playing, and I said, "What if we did this?" And we did it, and it worked beautifully. And it was like polish and release, and it was done. But it would not go for 4 months. No matter what we did, we were like, "I hate it. It sucks. This is no fun."
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
went, all right, well, let's play next week and we'll try something new. And he had something, I had something, and all of a sudden it just came to us. And I was like, wow, what a great equalizer. Because I've always been a big fan of games that encourage the front guy to kind of slow down and wait for everyone to catch up and encourage the back guy to get a good running start and race through the pile. So it keeps everything equal, sort of like lap traffic does in NASCAR.
Hmm.
You get to lap traffic, you have to slow down, which lets everyone catch up to you.
Right.
And I love that self-balancing idea, and so that's what we tried to do in Deviltree. And then After Days, it kind of worked the way we wanted from the get-go, but you just don't see a lot of cooperative dice and card filler games. And I'm like, well, that's unique. So we have 2 purely adversarial, one that's team adversarial or can be played as just a free-for-all shootout, purely adversarial, and then one co-op. And that was the idea, was we're releasing a wide variety of themes, a wide variety of plays and topics, and so everything plays completely different.
Cool. Very cool. I think it gives you a lot of different options and a lot, like you say, a lot of different flavors to try to capture everybody's little niches.
Keeps it
Yeah.
fresh. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
they're gonna make it out. If for some odd reason, fingers crossed, work, that's fine. The games are still here. They're still ours, and we will do another Kickstarter. But I've learned so much. I mean, I've doubled or tripled my knowledge on what to do and not to do in a Kickstarter in this
Right.
1 week experience so far. So, I feel really lucky that people have backed me, and I'm starting to get a little bit of a following, and things are starting to move. Will we make it? I really hope we do, and that would be wonderful. But if we don't, it's not the end of the world either, because the games are still going to come out. They'll just be a little delayed is all.
Right.
And probably the next Kickstarter will be one game. But, you do what you got to do.
And that is the nice thing about Kickstarter is, nobody's cashing your check until, everything funds, and the people who are interested now, with enough notice say, hey, we didn't make it, but we're gonna, yeah, we want to do it again, and we hope that you're still there. More than likely grab those people. Or if you send it out to an agent
and what
or
I
whatever.
love about it, there's almost no risk for backers trying things, because if they don't fund, they didn't lose anything.
Right. And if they do fund, they get some great games.
Bring the backers in to give you feedback. Where did we go wrong? What should we do differently? Or what should we offer that would make this more? What are you looking for? Why did you stop in? And you can learn so much.
Right. Yeah, and Kickstarter is its own beast. I mean,
oh yeah,
we've had quite a few people with Kickstarters on, and it's like a full-time job unto itself, and it's learning a whole new language almost.
Yep, you are absolutely right, and it's a rough lesson.
Well, the nice thing is, though, you have the community, with the design group, to have the opportunity to talk with people who have done it and
oh yeah,
gain from their experiences.
Yeah. Well, interesting thing, Scott's in the design group, Scott Hansen, and he has a number of Kickstarters out there. He's in the design group, but he and I worked in the video time entertainment. So I've worked with Scott and then met him again in the design group, so he and I are connected 2-3 ways now.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to see if Vince is paying attention.
I'm paying attention. But do you want me to take the next question?
Yeah.
You got to give me the guns.
I gave you the chat.
I didn't see.
See, he's watching porn while we're talking. That's what's going on here.
Well, to each his own, I mean, got to stay occupied. I thought he was pouring another beer.
There you go. I was completely listening about you and Mr. Hansen and being connected by all those different ways. So, John, fuck you. I don't always have my eyes over on the chat, so.
Oh, I gotcha.
All right, you son of a bitch. All right, now we'll combine two things together. Favorite board games and favorite RPG games. If you have any, you may say.
Favorite RPG. I had the original red and blue box, and so I'm old
school. But
probably my favorite is Deadlands. Shane Hensley. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. And he's such a great guy. When I started teaching at the school, I told him I wanted to have an assignment where they made kind of an RPG light. And a week later, a box of RPG games showed up, all from Pinnacle Entertainment.
Wow.
And Shane sent me 2-3 copies of everything. And I'm out to students, and we use them in class. But I love Deadlands, that whole idea of the Weird West.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Kind of, you have the magicians, the undead, the monsters, but also just the pistoliers. Great environment, so I really, really enjoy that one. If I had to go favorite board games, I love the zombie game. I can't remember the name of it. I'm having a senior moment.
Zombicide?
No, it's not Zombicide. Last Night on Earth.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
It hurts. It really hurts. I love that one a lot. I go back to the old days, Clue and Monopoly. Those are great games.
Oh, yeah.
One of the games that I'm almost always have on me is Chupacabra and Zombie Dice.
Yeah, I have.
I keep those around me at all times.
John has those.
They are so fun and light. Our games are really light. You can play them while you're drinking, but those games are so light you can play them while you're just stone drunk.
Yeah.
And laugh, and they get more fun, and they're just well done. And so that's what inspired us to go in that direction.
Okay.
Were those games.
Nice.
I picked up a copy of Zombie Dice at PAX in 2012, and we went to a little bar and we played on a little table like that.
Yeah.
There's all the glasses, and then we had all the dice tinkling in between. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's fun and it's quick. You know, it doesn't require a lot of brain power. I mean, it's just, you know, am I going to stay or am I going to push? You know.
Push.
Yeah.
That's right. Simple.
Yeah, it's a lot of
Now,
fun.
have you played where you add Santa? You can add
Yes.
Santa and the hunk and the heroine and the school bus. Once
I
you add
don't
those,
like the school bus.
it's a little complicated, but
Now,
that's all I can say.
are you playing anything at the moment, or are you totally wrapped up in the Kickstarter and your next project?
Oh, no. I still play. I try to play at least an hour of games every day. I mean, I'm a game designer. I have to play.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I'm just fiddling on phone, kind of, time waster apps and things like that. But playing some Star Wars Armada, some X-Wing miniatures. Those are real fun ones. I'm real big into miniature games. We're doing some Flames of War, World War II, mainly
nice.
Desert. That's what I like the best, and World War One version of Flames of War. And then we also do War Machine and Hordes at times.
Oh yeah.
So we're playing games all the time. We just did Pandemic Legacy,
Cool.
and I was able to participate in the first 6 or 7 months there, and then I had to kind of drop out just because too much was going on. But that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Big zombie. I love all zombie things.
Who doesn't?
What did you think about this last week's episode of Walking Dead?
It was the best episode I think I've ever seen on TV.
It was really good.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Certain things I had predicted, and then other ones I went, I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming, and I just loved it. They just played with me the whole time. It was great.
Yeah, it was kind of keep you on the edge of your seat sort of thing. And and Daryl at the beginning of the episode, that was one of those things like, wow, I didn't, wow.
I didn't see that coming. Where the hell did that come from? It was great. That was great. That set the tone for the whole thing. I mean, they are amazing in what they're doing. So I enjoyed it thoroughly.
I do too. Do you read the comic or no?
I haven't on purpose because I don't want to accidentally get ahead. I think when The Walking Dead is done, I will go back and read the comics start to finish. But I didn't want to ruin the show. I'm enjoying it so much.
It diverges from the comic. I don't want to say quite a bit, but quite a bit. You know, some of the characters aren't extant in the comic book, and you know, some of the things happen sort of out of order or whatever. One of our members, Neil, watches it and hates it. I guess he's a masochist because he reads the comics and he just doesn't.
I can't stop.
I don't know. We argue about it sometimes. Yeah. I think it's fantastic. I mean, it can be very heavy-handed in the themes and things. Like they sort of beat you over the head with some of it, but it's zombies.
Right, and it's a diversion from reality, but it lets us have that fantasy, right? Everybody wants to be Daryl. If Daryl dies, we riot. Kind of same idea.
I'm on that train.
Yeah, and the ladies have Carol and Michonne. I would take their characters in a role-playing game in a heartbeat. They're so badass. So
yeah, for
there's
sure.
just tons of great people. Tons of great people.
Mm-hmm. And it's cool. It's cool to see the arcs for those main characters, and some of the characters that obviously have already passed. To see them from the beginning to where they wind up at, even if that end is death, is very rewarding.
Yeah, it's usually a grisly end, but you see it and you go, wow, that character has nowhere else to grow. I bet they're going to off him next. You know, sure enough.
Yeah.
But it's still fun.
Yeah, I enjoy it. My kid was super stoked. We had a countdown going for when he came back from the mid-season break. She's a big fan. My
wife and I mean, don't mess with us on Sunday night. Don't do it, because we're not answering the phone. Don't bring the kids over. It's not happening.
Yeah, we actually
halfway through Talking Dead. We won't. We're not alive. Leave us alone.
Shutter the windows. Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't actually watch it while it was first on. We were talking about some other family things. So we didn't actually
Mhm.
watch it probably for about 2 hours after. She was like, "Can we watch it now?" I said, "You will watch it, and I got to go to bed. I got to get up and go to work."
Oh,
So we didn't
yeah,
watch
yeah.
Talking
You got
Dead
to
yet.
basically shut down social media if you don't watch it, because
Yeah,
you'll hear about it.
well, that's I try. I try to make sure I watch it that night because even people I work with and my brother, my kid, she's crazy. She'll
Right.
read all the spoilers and then my brother will come over and she goes, "Oh, I know who dies," and I'm like, "Shut the fuck up, both of you, shut up.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't want
want
to
to
hear
know.
it." I purposely stay away from all that
So,
stuff.
yeah. What did you guys think about Glenn?
I you
The
know
dumpster and Glenn.
when he was against the wall, I said they're gonna freaking kill him again. Like how many times can you kill the same guy? Like come on.
I was upset that he didn't die at the dumpster.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of janky. Um,
Well, I looked at it and I said, it felt like they rolled the dice to see what everyone would say and could play it off either way. That's that. Mourn him, be done with him, let's go on with somebody else.
yeah,
That's going to
yeah,
create a whole new bunch of arcs. Let it go.
right.
And my wife was in denial. She was in denial. She curled out. She wouldn't talk. I would say, he's really dead. Shut up. That was all she'd say. Shut up. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, it was
Funny.
that was a brutal week or so, whatever it was, 2 weeks till he came back.
Yes, it was.
Um,
Yep.
if they stay true to the, I'm not gonna say anything. You didn't read it. I'm not gonna say anything.
No,
Uh,
no lead.
yeah. All right, maybe we probably kick off zombie talk. Zombie talk.
Yeah, what the
Uh,
fuck?
Do you have a favorite game that you've worked on? Do something that you put together that's like, oh man, that was just the best.
Video game wise, I did Rainbow City was went up to Montreal, lived up there, and we made that. And then what I found really interesting and more rewarding than I thought was we for the Xbox, and it outsold the PC version and won awards. And we were like, thank goodness. I mean, we had to fight with management because they said, we'll give you 5 people and 3 blocks we're done. And we went, no. We want 30 people. We want 9 months. We're going to do it right, and we're going to make you a lot of money. And after the whole way they look at it, and they don't port anymore. They actually say, no, let's redesign it and take it to a new medium, which is the right way to do it.
Hmm.
Across. And so there's a lot of interesting things like that. There was a game I worked on that never got published, but it was called Heaven versus Hell.
Hmm.
And it was what happens if God says, I'm done with humanity and sends angels. Well, they don't come down and touch you on the head with a wand. They come down with fiery swords, strike you down, and your souls go to heaven. And that's kind of the apocalypse, right? The Old Testament Bible.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute, we had a deal. I get the evil ones, you get the good ones. So the devil sends his demons up to get his souls. And then humanity's right in the middle, and we made a real-time strategy game out of that, where you could play the angel side or the humanity side, because they get a hold to some brimstone and find that that can actually affect the angels and demons. But other than that, they're overwhelmed. And so, very interesting twist. We figured we were going to get picketed and rioted and everything else, but we tried to keep it real, not non. We didn't take a stand.
Right.
So we had Indian gods and Japanese and Chinese and
None.
all the different gods. So, like one of the angels' warriors was the 6-armed Shiva.
Hmm.
And with the swords, and they would wail through things. And then we had demons, and we had so much fun making that and trying to sell it. And then the company went out of business.
Oh,
So
that sucks.
investors pulled the funding, and we were just devastated. But such is life.
Sounds like it would have been a fun game.
It was really interesting, and I got to make a really cool machinima to sell. this giant jellyfish-like machination on the angel's side, and it would come in and just whirling tentacles and just sweep demons away. But so you would hear it coming, and the whole idea was eventually you could make one of these mega creatures and then cut it loose and watch it, and just watch what it does. And I'm like, I want to play that. My favorite games are real-time strategy, so I was desperate to play it, but of course didn't get released.
Yeah, yeah. Well, being a video game designer, how do you feel about how they do things now with all the downloadable content? And you don't just buy a game anymore. You're in for a penny, in for a pound.
I'm not a huge fan of forcing that. Probably right for video games. They started with you had to buy the hint book, or you really couldn't play the game, and I was totally against that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, let people buy it and play it, and if they want additional, they don't force them. Like, I liked expansion packs and things like that, but I didn't like, well, you want that? You have to buy that. That kind of thing. I think the internet has kind of forced a little bit of that idea, but the games that I play on my phone, I play them, and if I have a good time, I send them money. I buy things on them. But if the game lets me know you have to pay, keep going, or it gets so hard you have to pay money to get some things, they try to just quit and go, okay, yep, lesson learned.
Yeah, yeah. My kid and I just watched the South Park episode where they did that whole Canadian gaming thing with all the downloadable content and the microtransactions.
Yeah.
It's fairly amusing.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. And so I kind of like that on Kickstarter, where you can do the stretch goals. And if people are really behind your product and they're really excited about it, you can keep adding things and giving them free stuff and kind of getting it going. It's a wonderful way to get them involved. I really enjoy that.
Right.
I enjoy being a backer on that,
Yeah, yeah. It's nice to get feel like you're getting more than what your money's worth on backing a game like
Sure.
that. You start to get all that unlocked stuff.
Well, you feel like they
feel
care about you.
Yeah, yeah. Do you feel like there's pressure now? Yeah, right. Do you feel that there's pressure now to when you have your Kickstarter in mind to go, okay, I need to have X amount of stretch goals in my pocket to make people happy now? Do you think that Kickstarter kind of fosters that mentality now, or?
I think if you put your Kickstarter up there and you didn't have any stretch goals up there, you're kind of telling them, like, if you have stretch goals, it shows that you're planning for the future and you're behind it and you're excited and you're ready for this to go big, and you want this to go big and you want to support them and stuff like that. So I think you pretty much can't run a Kickstarter without something in the background. Now, I'm looking at games mainly. So if you're talking about a tool or something like that, I mean, what's the stretch goal for a tool? I don't know, maybe a different grip or a different size, or get to, I don't know what they would be, but I kind of think it's that, people want that.
Right. Yeah, and gaming was more what I was talking about.
Yeah, yeah. Well, in a way, it's like the punch card when you go to a restaurant. You get 10 punches, you eat for free.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same kind of thing. Like, everybody likes to know that they're being appreciated and that they're getting something, being valued, and so that, I think, it builds community.
Right. Well, like you said, it shows that they're committed to the project, and there's going to be some support for it. Yeah, that's a good observation. Do you have any advice for someone who's just starting out in game design?
It all depends on where you're trying to go. If it's a video game industry, it's pretty much you've got to go through an education system to get there. It's really hard. And because game design is a leadership role, it's very hard to move there, but you need to find a way into the industry that has physical skills before you can try to move over and use those physical skills. And now, if we're talking board games and things like that, there's a lot of opportunities, and you get with like the Dallas Designers Group and things like that, and you can learn from these people who've been doing it. There's people and Scott who are there who are bringing some video game experience into it. It's just a wealth of knowledge. There's pools. Tiffany Franzoni at Roll to Play in Carrollton is wonderful, and she has a designer night once a month where she tries to get all the new designers together. So she's phenomenal in what she's trying to do. But there's a lot of opportunities in design, and then if you want video game design, there's sort of these formal paths now. But I will say, do your research. Don't ever sign up for a program unless graduates, some of the professors, current students, I mean, ask all the questions. Because my kids, I got one in college now and one going to college in August, and so it's better to do your research and know what you're paying for. You don't just go into a car store and just buy a car because it looks nice. You ask questions about it. You look at it, dig into it.
A lot of people do.
I know they do that, but they do it.
Yeah. Do your kids game as well, or
Yeah.
are they like, come on, Dad, just forget it?
Oh yeah, my daughter not so much gaming. She's not very competitive, but she's recently started playing D&D with my son's group.
Nice.
My son, when he was in junior high, said, "Dad, I want to do what you do. I want to go to your school. I want to." That makes a dad just so happy.
Mm-hmm.
His Christmas, he wanted a full set of the newest version of D&D books. So of course I got it. He and I play miniature games together. He helped play test a lot of the games and help with some of the design issues. My daughter enjoyed D&D so much. She's playing remotely from Georgia now with his group in high school in Texas.
Nice.
So she logs on every Sunday night for 2 hours and sits with them and plays. And she's the one that wants to think deeply about things and solve puzzles. And most of the other ones are the guys, and they want to smash stuff and take stuff. And it's like, slow down. I can get us through this, but don't be killing people yet. Wait a minute, you know.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. But yeah, they're both big gamers. Their mother's a gamer now, so it's like it's crazy. I mean, just crazy how much gaming has grown.
That's great. You know, you get your whole family into something like that. That's a lot of fun. My kid's not so much into it. I'm like, do you want to do this? You want to do that? She's like, nah, I don't think so.
It'll come around. My daughter wasn't into it until she got to college.
Yeah.
And then she came back and she visits with her friends, but whenever she has free time and there's a game, she'll jump in it.
Mm-hmm.
Now she won't schedule around a game like my son will. He'll go, well, Wednesday I canceled all my plans. We're playing a game. But if she'll go, well, yeah, I got some time on Wednesday. I'll jump in there.
Yeah.
Bring her characters, so it's just funny.
That's cool. I did get my daughter to play after days with me. I'm like,
oh, good.
We got to play. Like, I got to get some games in, so let's go. And she's into The Walking Dead, so she had a good time doing it.
Yeah. It's definitely inspired by that. I mean, it was just so much fun, that show, and you can't get it out of your mind, so you want more. And what do? You make games kind of in that genre.
Mm-hmm. She does all kinds of fan fiction and stuff. She's got a Wattpad, and
oh yeah,
she's got notebook after notebook of Walking Dead fan fiction.
Good for her. Good for her.
Yeah, I told her, I said, you got to work on it, and we'll get you published somewhere.
That's right.
Especially now with the podcast, I said, we'll do our own imprint, and we'll do it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's lots of opportunities for her.
Yep, self-publishing now, like doing gaming, games on Kickstarter is such a big thing. Vince just published his first book late last year, November.
No, the ebook dropped in August. The paperback September, October, and then the audiobook a few weeks ago. And
very cool. What is it?
If you like Tesla,
I do.
Cosmic horror and all kinds of shit like that. In fact, the cover of the book is on my wall here. But
Ooh.
yeah, here's.
Of course, he's got a copy handy right next to the desk.
Of course, you fuck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a quick read. They're little novellas,
Oh, great.
60 to 100 pages. Almost finished the second one, and hopefully by late spring, early summer, that will hit the world. So.
Oh, great. I'll have to pick it up. Looks great.
Yeah, we'll send you a link.
That's awesome. Yeah, please.
You can go to www.legendsoftabletop.com
You can.
and order through our Amazon affiliate link.
There you go. I have on the very bottom. I put a little icon with the link, Amazon link to it. So, not for anything. I mean, I wrote it. I think it's good, but the artwork is phenomenal by Adam Baker. Did the cover. He's also working on our logo for Legends of Tabletop. And when we release that, it's going to blow you away. It's phenomenal.
Fantastic.
But for the novella, the audio, David Stiefel, he's done some plays, he's done some movies, he's done a lot of audio. He just did it. He really brought it to life with the different voices, and I'm very pleased with that. So that's really cool.
Very cool. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, I'm fresh out of questions. I guess we can start to roll into the final 5 here. We have 5 geeky/nerdy questions we ask everybody on the way out, and you can answer just yes or no, or if you want to expound on your answers, you can do that too.
Sure, shoot.
All right, Star Trek or Star Wars?
Oh, that hurts.
Yep.
Star Wars because of grandness. Star Trek every day.
Okay.
That's
two,
That's a good one.
Two completely different philosophies there.
Yes, but I love sci-fi. All of it.
Okay.
Cool. Did you watch a new Battlestar Galactica when it came out 10 years ago now?
I did. I did. It kind of fell flat the last year or two, but I loved the beginning. It was so amazing.
Yeah. I watched the first couple episodes, and it was kind of like on at a weird time or something, and I just never caught it.
Yeah.
But I love the original.
Oh, yeah, me too.
As it is. Yeah.
I loved it.
Lorne Green.
Amazing.
Yeah. Tabletop or video games?
If I have to choose, tabletop.
You have to choose.
Tabletop.
You must.
I started as tabletop, learned all my skills. I would end as tabletop.
Nice.
More social.
Yeah.
That seems to be the common consensus, even from video game designers.
Yep.
Well, when you social video game, it's more just like yelling at the other guy through a pair of headphones. Fuck you, fuck you.
Halo.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah, not very good. DC or Marvel?
Marvel. Some DC I really enjoy, but in general, Marvel all the way.
So you're enjoying the renaissance of all these new superhero movies then?
I do. I'm also enjoying the Flash and Arrow, though. So I'm a junkie. I can't get enough of this stuff. So
it's amazing how far along it is. I mean, we were young. What do we have? We had the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
There was that brief stint of Spider-Man.
Yeah, very brief.
Yeah. Then you had Shazam when we were real young.
Shazam.
And then shit, I think that's it. I mean, that was it.
No, you had Adam West Batman.
Oh, well, that's true. Yeah. But that was really before us.
But it was still. I remember seeing that when I was little.
Yeah. Well. It was.
And then of course you had what is it? America's Greatest Hero, or whatever the frig that thing was with William Catt.
You mean Greatest American Hero?
Greatest American Hero. Yeah.
Where he couldn't fly.
That was a disgrace.
Crashed all the time.
Yeah. That
So
was
now, I mean,
fantastic.
you can't go by a month without, and on TV, but a month and something in the movies is this resurrected superhero myth.
Yeah.
It's great.
Well, they're also playing with ideas like Gotham, where they're
Hmm.
not going into the superheroes per se, but the creation myths, and they're having fun with it, and I enjoy them all.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Did you? Are you going to go see Deadpool?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
That was a dumb question.
Yeah,
Well,
that
you
looks
know.
great.
Uh,
My students are telling me it's amazing.
Yeah, I heard it was really good. I've never read the comic, so I don't.
Either.
I can't balance it against anything.
Yeah,
But I like Ryan Reynolds. I mean,
I love him.
he's funny.
yeah. Sci-fi or fantasy?
Sci-fi, if I have to.
Okay.
I love fantasy, but I've had it so much for so long. Sci-fi is new and fresh and leaning that way.
Cool. All right.
Although I
And
do take a medieval sword class, so I mean,
do you really?
yeah, it's the martial art, the actual practice of sword fighting with a long
Nice.
sword and dagger and spear, and so
Cool.
like I said, I'm into all of it. I mean, can't stop.
Very cool. What is it? Are you actually taking a martial art, or are you taking more of a medieval sword
It's
class?
a medieval martial art, is what it is. It's called
Okay.
the Historical European Martial Art, HEMA.
Huh.
But this is the actual martial art of battle with a weapon, and they teach you basically how to survive on a battlefield is the first things you learn, and so it's a very defensive art. And then when
Mhm.
you get a chance, it's offensive, but never on a risk to your own life, because it was taught to nobles and things like that, and you are always trained like how not to take damage, and eventually they will mess up, and you can deliver damage without taking any, then you do it. And so
Right.
it's real. I mean, that's what I love about it. The tactics, the weapons, the techniques, it's all real.
Very cool. Use wooden swords and lots of pads, or how does that?
We train mainly with wooden swords, aluminum swords. There's also a hard plastic that flexes,
Hmm.
and then some people have metal ones. And then my instructor has a reproduction of a real one. It's razor sharp. So we'll get to hold that and trying to try some techniques and stuff. But yeah, it's mostly no contact or light contact. And then if you want to spar, then yeah, you put on lots of pads and you
Yeah.
go at each other with plastic flexible swords so you don't kill each other.
Hmm.
Nice.
But you can wear full armor and break a finger like nothing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So much energy in these swords, you know.
Right. And it's a lot of crushing damage, a lot
Oh
of
yeah.
bashing. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sweet. That's pretty cool. And the last one I've got for you is if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
It'd have to be invisibility so I can watch stuff. I could be anywhere I want. Nobody would know. I could, walk in on these big meetings. I overhear things. I could. It's too good.
Mm-hmm. Sweet. I think we've had people take that before.
Yeah, it's between that one and flying.
Yeah, the popular one it seems to be flying. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the invisibility. Just be the fly on the wall. I've always wanted to be the fly on the wall.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So at Comic Con, you just walk right over and you stand next to the celebrity and you just listen. And you get to find out who they really are, right? Not who
Yeah.
they pretend to be. That
Right.
to me would be way more interesting than going up and meeting their show personality. So
Yeah, for sure. And for what they charge for an autograph, it's crazy.
yeah, I've done a couple of those, but not many. And usually it's somebody my wife is really excited about, so we'll go.
Yeah, they got a couple people coming out to Phoenix Comic Con here at the beginning of June, but it's a little too pricey for me. 40, $50 for an autograph, and you spend two
Yeah,
seconds with
really.
somebody. It's kind of rough.
Well, she really has a thing for Dyson from what's the name of the show? Lost Girl.
Hmm.
It's a Canadian kind of vampire fairy, kind of show. and he's a werewolf, and so we saw him, and we were like, oh, we're getting in line. Bought the photo, got him to sign it, everything. You know, he gave her a big hug, and it just made her day. And I'm like, ah, it's so worth it. Go do it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't found mine. I did get to see Barbara Eden,
Oh, cool.
and that was amazing. Seeing her from 50 feet away, I was like, oh my God, I had such a crush on you, you know. Just, she's still gorgeous. I'm sorry. I mean, she's just amazing. So it's a lot of fun.
I took my daughter to her first con in October last year, and we got dressed up as Attack on Titan characters, and she had just had such a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's so much fun just goofing off. Yeah.
Yep.
We go to the Ren Fair, dress up like pirates.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
We used to do that when I was living in Jersey. Still, we used to go up to what is that, Mount Hope up there in Pennsylvania for the Ren Fair. We used to try to go like once a year.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Get your big old turkey leg and mug and mead. Yep.
Go watch.
Oh, mini.
Yeah.
Just keep them coming, right?
Yeah, it's
good
pricey.
Drunken pirate, I tell you.
Go watch
I did go dressed up as a pirate one year.
Yeah. Well, we've been collecting our outfits for years, and we just get one new thing every year, a little thing here, a little thing there, and got my tricorn hat coming this year, so gonna do it all, do it upright. Got my cutlass, you know, I'm all good.
Sweet.
Yep. Nice. Got to make sure you get that piece tied though.
Oh, little pink string.
Yeah.
Cool. That's all we've got. Everybody should go to Kickstarter and type in a little search box there. Dice Made Me Do It. Go check out the Kickstarter. You get 4 awesome games for like 30 or 35 bucks. We want to get this, push this thing up over the hill, and at least get these first 2 games get funded. So everybody go do it. The links are in the show notes, as well as link to the website, which is dicemademedoit.com. Everybody should go check that out and support Mike and what he's doing.
That's right, you fucks.
That's probably not helpful.
It might be. Some people appreciate it. Yeah. God damn it.
Throw it in for good measure, I guess.
Always. And don't edit that out, you fuck. I'm going to listen to it.
I'm sure you will. We're kind of out of order here a little bit, but could you cut us a bumper here at the end, Mike?
Okay. Hi, I'm Michael McCoy with Dice Made Me Do It, and this is Legends of Tabletop.
Sweet.
Thanks, sir.
I'll cut that.
Thanks,
and stick
guys,
it on the
so much for having me, and sorry for all the technical headaches.
Nah, no worries. It actually worked out nicely.
Yeah, you were 80-20.
Okay, we'll take it.
We can
take it.
We'll work with it.
I'll record a little something on the front end that just says that we had some technical difficulties with the audio and whatnot. That way, people aren't like, "Oh, what the hell is this?"
No, they'll say that anyway. So
yeah,
good.
Well, thank you very much for reviewing After Days, and next time we have another Kickstarter, I'll definitely be sending you a copy of the game to review, and if I can just get them funded, I'll be sending you finished games. Send those up your way too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. We definitely appreciate it. We're glad to have you on, and anytime you got the promotion bug, just give us a shout, and we'll definitely get you on.
Most certainly. Well, thank you guys.
All right. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
We appreciate it. This is Legends of Tabletop signing off. Thanks for listening.
All right.
Good night, people.